And on this episode, all the goods came from ordering. So look at that, all the Crower good stuff. And of course, we finished the head. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And so we're going to assemble the head with all the Crower goods, of course. And the Skunk2 intake manifold also arrived. So we're going to cut it up, get it ready, and start porting it. Yes, and assemble the bottom end. So, this is going to be fun, right? We're going to put the pistons one by one. And yes, this one is just right for you. So let's go, let's go. Alright, first things first, our new page is up and running and link will be in the description below. I had to make a new one because as my personal Facebook got hacked, I lost moderation control of the old page. I had to make this one. And here we have the complete price list of the general work like port work, engine builds, cam degree and all that. Even ECU tuning is there. So everyone could just check on our price costing or our price list. We actually continue to post good updates like within the shop. Like there we're building the B20 VTEC, all the valve seals that we have to order because that's what we use, and also the other videos. And you can see here the core shift, we made a post there, we're talking about that. So I'll see you guys there. So comment down on posts there and I'll get back to you. Okay, now ordering all of these took about 3 to 4 weeks, which is pretty good. Actually, we got the new ARP rod bolts there, and the pistons that I always order from the same source, the P29, they actually changed their boxing. It actually looks really good, right? And of course, the Crower cam and valve train came from Crower themselves, so that's pretty good. Brian from Crower emailed me that it's gonna take about 10 days before they finish the Crower Stage 3 because it was out of stock, and of course, I was good with it because, hey, that means just freshly baked cookies from the oven just for me. So that's going to be okay, right? So, yes, I waited a few days and then they got to ship it and it arrived. So, hey, that's all good. And so the head is all done now here, as you can see. Let's look at it close. There, wait, look. Oh, there. Sorry about the focus on the phone. Yes, it's going to be really good, right? And onto the exhaust here. It's also done. We'll have an extensive video of this on the membership only section, mainly because this will be dynoed. We will dyno this, and it's really worth talking about because look, we actually did a custom valve seat or valve cut on the intake and exhaust, and so if this makes power or when this makes power, we will know. Here it's barely resurfaced because it's gonna be 12.8:1 compression. That's gonna be decent for pump gas. You can see the valve job, right? We will talk about this extensively on the membership only video, right? Remember, Todd's block was up on the third engine stand at the edge, right? Now it's all here up front because it's freshly honed and resurfaced, so it's now ready and clean. Let me turn it around. Oh, sorry. Okay, here you can see the bearing saddle is all clean, right? We're gonna wipe this, put brand new bearings, and start assembling it for you guys. So let's go. Let's put this on the stand here. Let's go, come on. Now here is the OEM Taiho bearings, main and rod bearings. So let's go with the main bearings first. Let's install it. We wipe the saddles clean. Now, carefully install the main bearings while the other half on the block. Now here we can check it. Let me unclip the phone. Oh yes, sir. Looking good now. Now up next is the assembly loop and then the crank. Okay, wait, let me clip the phone again. Here, okay. Now we time lapse this because the assembly loop takes a long while. Alright, then crank. Thrust washers, groove side out, of course, then again. Then the main saddle, or the main girdle, sorry. Hand tight so that it goes in snug before we torque it to the first step and then the second step. Yes, okay, now let's go. First step is 18 feet-pounds torque. We're not gonna time lapse this because it's not gonna take too long for all to 10 bolts. Sorry, I had to count it, sorry. All right. Yes, sir, The clicking sound is just good. Well, it's just something that I kind of like hearing or enjoy hearing when I'm assembling engines. So that's a little too obvious that I enjoy building engines, right? Okay, the last two. Okay, now on to the next step. Let's go, let's go. Second and last step is 38 feet-pounds torque. Okay, now you can hear it's gonna be louder. Yes, see that's louder. Okay, now we time lapse the rest, so it's gonna be really quick. All right, there. Let's put the crank bolt or crank nut on the snout so that we can turn it easier. Oh yeah, turns really good just with by hand, with the hand, like almost just the fingers. And this has assembly loop, so it's supposed to be more sticky or more load. Let's use a back wrench here. Yeah, and you can see the crank is straight and true. Okay, let's turn this. There you go. And then wait, let me push and just the rotator on the stand more inward might fall off. You gotta put a stopper here for safety, you guys. If you gotta make sure, but well, I don't feel like putting that yet. Sorry. Okay, now we use WD-40. Well, this one is JS-40, so it's a pirated brand. To spray on the bore so we can wipe it clean off from its flash rust. Here we use a paper towel. There you can see it's gonna be clean. You can see the flash rust is gonna be on the paper. That's the brown stuff there. Okay, we time lapse it. All right. Now let's head back to the workbench and check the pistons. We had it pressed into the factory rods, and look at that. This is the reason why I always get this from the same source, because look, it's like OEM. A lot of people prefer the shiny good stuff, but hey man, shiny does not mean good. So, this is my choice. And look at here. Let me remove this. Their packaging is really cool. The top ring is there. And of course, each spot there is the second ring and the oil control rings. Yes. So it's really not bad. So now let's check on the ring gaps. Let's go, let's go. All right, we checked the ring gaps onto the board itself, and the top ring was actually right on the money. It's at 0.014. So we left that as is, so that's because that's pretty good. But on the second ring, we had to file it just to give us 0.018. So the ring gap is 0.014 and 0.018. So now let's go assemble the ERP rod bolts and the piston rings to the pistons. All right, here, let me show you something now. This is the main bear or half of the main bearing of Todd's VTi. Look, for 100 plus thousand kilometers mileage, look how fresh that is. Because the clearances from the factory was done well. And locally people would say, once you rebuild the engine, it's not gonna last as long. That's because, bruh, you're not building it. You're just assembling it. A lot of self-proclaimed builders here are just actually assembling engines, not really building it properly, because without proper measurements, you're just assembling it like a Lego. So it's not gonna always gonna be good. So that's quite dangerous for the customer's money. And here it is now with all the ERP installed, the rod bolts and the piston rings, and of course the brand new rod bearings. You can see here it's all lubed up so that when we assemble it later, when we put the ERP lube, it's gonna be just good. And of course the torque assembly lube is up there on the right side. Let's go. Okay, we start with piston number 1. Yes, sir. Okay, we turn it. One side for the rod bolt, well, the rod cap first, of course, lubricated with ERP lube. Then the other side, okay, hand tight, because we're gonna stretch it later, all right? That's number 2. Oh yeah, this is actually really fun, Cap then, of course, lube. Don't forget the ERP fastener lube on the other side too. Yep. Okay, piston number 3 now. Good and simple, right? Okay, there. All right, hand tight. Keep it snug and good. All right, now last one, piston number 4. Okay, there. Then we loosen the fastener, the ERP, on number 1 first, and then get the stretch gauge. Zero it out. Let me show you. You can hear it's raining again, tropical country. Sorry about that, guys. Right here, 0. And ERP suggests 0.0050 to 0.0055 stretch. So now we torque it 26 or 28 feet-pounds torque. And here we are. Oh, perfect. All right. Now we do this to the rest of the bolts, and that you can call it done. All right. Now let me come clip the phone, and let's turn the engine or turn the crank. Okay, sorry about that. Sorry. I was sitting down. There. Oh yeah, it turns really good. This is gonna run really, really good. Of course, after the initial startup, with the initial tuning, the rings will seat in well. So this is gonna make good power. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, here, let's click the phone again. You can turn it. Sorry, it's just, really nice to just keep checking it like this, just to be sure everything is good, nothing binds up. All right, now let's go back to the workbench. Let me show you something. All right, we are off to assemble the head with the Crower valve springs and retainer, SuperTech valve seals. So we'll have an extensive video on this on the members only section, because we're going to talk about the 3-angle valve job that we did on the intake and the exhaust, and plus because this is going to be dyno, so we're going to discuss it there. Of course, the Skunk2 intake manifold just came in the other day, so we're going to cut this on the plenum and start porting it. This way we're going to make it work for what the head wants and the cams, and of course that goes towards the application they intended. This is a street car. We're trying to get as much power as we can reliably. So this is going to be a fun project. And so as soon as we finish the manifold, we're going to install the head and probably start it up and drive it around, right? So once that happens, we start tuning it, you're going to like that one. So you can just click it here for that.